has to be value in this piece, right? And these are some of the things I've found. I mean, firstly, I found the story of Mxit. So the story of Mxit started in 2004. And some guys, it was basically a man and a married couple, Marianne and Manus Freeman. And they started fantasizing about this kind of way of making it really easy for everybody to communicate, like chat, SMS for free, you know? And how you could do it using the J2ME protocol and all this sticky jargon, and basically create like a free SMS application for all phones. It doesn't matter what phone you use. And that's where it kind of started. And then they got this thing off the ground. And originally it was going to be like a game, so they playing games. But then they found that the chatting part of it was like the biggest part of it, so they just completely deleted the whole game. And then, for some reason or other, it kind of caught hold. So it started on Mitchell's Plain, one of the high schools on Mitchell's Plain. And within about 6 months, there were about 30,000 users, regular users, but mostly in the Cape Flats. Actually, all of them, like 99%, all in the Cape Flats. And then what happened is, and it was mostly high school kids. And then the trick was, it was quite difficult to use and get into. So you became quite cool at school if you knew how to get Mxit onto your phone. And you could show the other kids, and you became a cool kid, you had mates that way. And you weren't cool unless you were talking to your mates on Mxit and all that stuff. So that's kind of what got it going in the schools. And then it somehow randomly, just like a virus, like somebody got on a plane and moved to Durban, and it started in Durban. So that was the next node. In the Indian community in Durban, that's where it started again in the high schools. And then for some reason it was the tipping point and it went through the roof. And I think after a year they had their customers. And then they had some challenges along the way. So one of the interesting things they found out was that it's different from Facebook. So a Facebook type social network is an asynchronous social network. So you go there to catch up on things. You're not necessarily going there for a real time conversation. When you're talking instant messaging, you're talking synchronous. So you're going in to talk. If there's no one in the room, you leave the room. And the problem is, before you've got any kind of critical mass, there's no one in the room. So it's like a chicken and egg. Right? If nobody's in the room, you won't go in the room, but nobody will go in the room unless you go in the room. And so anyway, they thought, how are we going to do this? They could see this fall off. People were registering, downloading that, going into that, and then there was nobody in the room, so they leave the room. So they created this virtual character called Lucy. And Lucy was this kind of bot, artificial intelligence, little algorithm sitting behind it. Everybody had this automatic friend, Lucy. And Lucy would talk to you. So, when you go in the room, there's somebody in the room. It's quite apparent that this is a robot, but people would start talking to the robot. Hi, how are you? Fine, thanks. You? Fine, thanks. Where do you live? I live here. Where do you live? And this was like a net. By the time, they gave time for other people to enter the room. And then somebody else would enter the room, and then you could start talking in conversation. And that's actually what created the thing. But they say the real trick was kind of introducing this kind of alter ego to Lucy called Fu. And Fu was this dark kind of side of Lucy. A little bit dirty. Not exactly being friendly to you, like you'd like to say hi, and she'd like to tell you the stuff off, And turns out Fu was like 1 million times more popular than Lucy. So people were looking for a bit of abuse. And Lucy and Fu was difficult to find. This was a part of the cool factor. Like, a lot of this was actually because it wasn't easy. That's what got the virality. Because in schools, it was like the cool kids knew how to do it and stuff like that. So only the cool kids knew how to find Fu in the whole, somewhere in the address book or in the system somewhere. And only if you were cool, you had Fu and blah, blah, blah. So that's how it kind of spread. Anyway, so that's, and it just kind of spiraled from there. So today, Mxit's in 126 countries. Now just keep in mind, there's 120 staff sitting in Stellenbosch. All the servers are sitting in Stellenbosch. The total running costs of the core network, including salaries, are probably 20 million rand a year. It's like $3 million. It's in 126 countries with no offices outside Stellenbosch. It is doing about 800 million messages a day. 800 million messages a day. I don't know, put that in context. F&B does 700 million transactions a month. Vodacom does 28 million SMSs a day. Twitter does 250 million messages a day. Mxit's 3 times bigger than Twitter, globally. It's enormously engaging. I mean, one of the other things I had to get my mind around was the fact that they're not kids anymore. They were kids 5 years ago, but now they're 18 or 25, so over 50% of the base is 18 or 25. They only have one screen in their life. Now this is another important thing. We're talking about the middle and the bottom of the pyramid. We're not talking about most of the people in this room. There's only one screen, and you've got a lot of time on your hands. So you're spending a lot of time on public transport. So that screen, there's no PlayStation, there's no iPad, there's no computer, there's no PC, it's like this is your screen. So that screen consumes your time. I mean, your average person per day sends something like 350 messages a day. They're spending an average of 4 hours a day in Mxit, the activity. This is, and because of the lack of devices creates a hugely engaging audience. Also creates a marketplace. So just in the beginning when they were like reaching their tipping point, they were running out of money. And Herman said, look guys, look, you've got 2 months and then we switch it off. I've only got 2 months of money left and we switch off the sorry. So you've got to become self-funded. So one of the engineers, a guy called Gavin Marshall, decided, no, what he'll do is he'll create a chat room. Okay, so the person-to-person chat, if you want to chat with me, video, whatever, that's like free. Okay, but if you wanted to go into a room and chat to multiple people at the same time, you pay per message. And his idea was you would use a premium rated SMS to convert real world rands to a virtual currency called Mula. So you'd say 2 rands worth of airtime and you convert it to 200 Mula. And then those Mula, you'd take 2 Mula off every time you chatted in the chat room. And that was their model. And in 2 months they were self-funded. And today they're probably generating 20 million rand a year in revenue from microtransactions in chat rooms. That's how they made money. And that was the first digital content they started selling. I mean, 70% of Mxit's revenues, which is over 100 million rand a year, is generated through digital content. Games, the chat rooms being first. So games are big. Text-based strategy stuff, like World of Warcraft stuff, but text-based. And you know, you and I would never use it because we've got alternatives, but this is the only device, and this is the only escape. I guess that takes me to the lessons learned about Mxit, is that, well, social networks at least, in our context, the 3 most important things you've got to realize when you're doing apps in this space, whether it's a social network or classified ads, wherever it is, if you want to get mass traction, you need to be conscious of the fact that nobody's got an iPhone or an Android. You can read TechCrunch every day of your life, and everybody on TechCrunch is telling you, everyone in the world's got an iPhone or an Android. It's not true. Less than 5% of South Africa. And South Africa is far ahead of the rest of the curve in Africa. It's got an Android or an iPhone. I think it's pretty less than 1%, to be honest. Call it less than 5%. BlackBerry is a big chunk, 10%. But the rest is just feature phones and like really simple phones. So, you know, if you're not developing for JTME, you can't get mass traction right now. You can wait 5 years until everybody's there, but you can't do it right now. Second thing is, data ain't free. Now, a lot of businesses, a lot of apps are being built on the basis that everything's like America, where data's free. So you can download as much video and rich content and color and graphics and all that stuff as you like. It doesn't matter. The content wins. It's not true. The market is very price sensitive and data costs money. So if you give them too much data, they're not going to use your application. As simple as that. Third thing, that's most important, is anonymity. Now this is really, really important. This is actually probably the most important thing in our context. And this is definitely what the middle class don't get. And probably you guys as well. And me, until I was sort of realizing this. Now this one, if you've got nothing, right? If you've got nothing, you're living like most people in the world live, in a house which is not very big, shared with lots of people, and you don't have your own room, so you can't lock yourself in your room and hide away. And when you walk onto the street, there are people on the street around you all the time, and you never get in your own car, you're getting into public transport all the time. You actually are never, ever alone. You're just never alone, for most people. The other thing is that your circumstances are pretty shit. So you don't want to be reminded of your circumstances, you don't have it thrown in your face all the time. This is why games do so well in an environment like Mxit, and this is why anonymity is key to social networks. People are looking for an escape. That's the first thing. They want to escape to another world where they don't feel like somebody's looking over their shoulders. The second thing they want to do is they don't want to be who they are in the real world, in that other world. They want to be whoever they want to be in that world, especially the youth. And the youth of the future. The youth is the early adoption curve for everything. For them, anonymity is very important. And privacy and being able to escape their world. Which, by the way, is one of the nice features about Mxit. It's like a cloud service for your phone. Effectively, it doesn't matter which device you're using, it doesn't matter which SIM card's in the device. You can have one phone being shared over amongst 5 family members. Or you can lose your phone and get a new phone. You just log into your Mxit profile, and all your contacts are there. You even have a gallery storage system. You can save your photos there, your conversations in there, your music in there, all that stuff. It's a cloud service, so it can be totally shared. Then you can log out and your mom can't see the kind of message you were sending or something. So that's kind of key. So what did we do when we got in? I mean, I knew that at a big picture level what we needed to do. It's only now with a little bit of experience and a little bit of being on the ground that we've realized what the real trick is going to be. And one of those kind of appeared to me just purely by accident. So we had this, they had this benefit system where everybody got lunch every day for free at this local restaurant where they were based just outside of Stellenbosch. And look, I'm just not a big fan of benefits, so I was just going to delete the benefit. I was just going to gross up the salaries, no worse off, but go buy your own food. They were going to be like a mini revolution. So one of the more clever guys around me, the guy said, well, rather than take away the money, the lunch, why don't we credit their wallet with their lunch allowance, 40 Rand a day? And then we go sign up restaurants in Stellenbosch and tell them, if you accept Mula as payment for lunch, we'll send you 120 employees a day. So we did that. And then we took Mxit from basically 0% of staff of Mxit using Mxit to 100% of staff of Mxit using Mxit. The second thing I realized is when you're young, you need to chat because you don't have money. As soon as you start earning money, you need to pay. And chat becomes less. You don't SMS as much as you do as you get older. It's as simple as that. And funny enough, that audience that we have, that hook of people that are constantly in there every day, 4 hours a day, 800 million messages a day, they're in, they're already there. It's not a far leap for them to use that application for payments. They've actually been brainwashed in the sense to accept that that's a trusted payment mechanism. And now we've got restaurants and hairdressers and everything in Stellenbosch queuing up to be a vendor, right? Because it's like a critical mass of kind of just staff, never mind opening it up to the whole network. So payments is a very important part of what we're going to be doing going forward. In fact, there are 4 things that are very important. The first thing that's very important is acknowledging and telling the story about what a positive social impact Mxit has on low-income communities. So the amount of stuff I've uncovered that nobody knows about, like whether it's 35,000 children using Mxit for extra maths, or people using Mxit for HIV reminder messages, or whether it's literacy games that are teaching literacy within the application, or just 500,000 people downloading the chess app, and people like playing chess and getting better at maths and strategic thinking. So the social impact stuff, that's the first thing. And to be honest, I mean, most youngsters nowadays don't really want to make money anymore. And the way I attract guys into the ecosystem is like, you're making a difference. You're changing the world, you're saving the world. You know, all the baby boomers left us a mess. How are we going to come and save them? So that hooks them, and that's the number one thing. It's the number of lives kind of impacted by the system, which for me is actually quite a nice thing to just rationalize why it's worth it. The second thing is user experience. For chat. Because chat's the killer app. That's what people want to do. And I think there's a move from voice to chat to SMS. And people are more and more comfortable with text. I mean, it's a lot easier for me to say, you know, Fred, I love you via text. And then you reply saying, well, I don't love you. And then I reply to him saying, you misunderstood me, I said you're a pig. So, but you can't do that face to face. You know, that's like awkward because there's no misunderstanding, but you can always say on this type and stuff. And that's why this chat creates this comfort in communication. It really does. And that's why it's kind of becoming more and more and more and more. So that's the first thing. We've got to get user experience on chat really good. I mean, right now we're just terrible when it comes to an iPhone. Android's okay, they're not great. BlackBerry is actually not too bad. So you've got to make it excellent. And you can't just rely on the fact that you're rock solid on 3,500 different versions of the feature phone. Everyone is eventually going to end up on a smartphone. And there's a window of opportunity whilst they kind of get around to that. You know, we've got to get that right. And also you can't be aspirational unless your role models are using your app. And you know, no role model is going to be, well, most role models are going to afford an iPhone or use an Android. So that's the first thing, user experience. Second thing is payments. So, and kind of getting money into the system. So the cost of money getting into the system is a big challenge. Up until now, it's only been by premium rated SMS. You lose like 30-40% revenue share from the telcos going in there. In spite of that, we're still doing 70% of our revenues are being generated from content. So in spite of that friction cost is still working. But now we're doing big deals with the banks. 2 of the big banks will announce it on the 1st of April. That kind of comes in, money comes into the system at a 5% cost now. So getting money into this digital economy is key. And half of that key is just making it easy for the Mxit kind of application to facilitate the overall payments. So getting that stuff right is really important to us. The third thing, the fourth thing, which is actually our money maker, which is actually how we're going to differentiate ourselves from the Silicon Valley guys, is our business model is not around selling advertising. It's about clipping the ticket of digital content sales. So when you sell content in our ecosystem, we retain 30% and we pay you 70%. Now that is the key. If we can build, firstly, a social graph, a group of people, an audience, which we already have, plugged into a wallet, so now you can take care of this problem that a lot of companies have in South Africa, trying to get to the middle or the bottom of the pyramid with a person not present. So billing. You can plug those to that, and then you can start plugging in world-class content that the guys need, and basic content. Electricity. We started electricity about 2 weeks ago, just a pilot. We sold 27,000 rand worth of electricity in 2 weeks. Airtime, no-brainer. Music, no-brainer. Job portals, no-brainer. So getting that kind of content in there is adding value to the ecosystem, all that stuff, and clipping the ticket at 30%. But fundamentally adopting a platform strategy. So saying, our job is not to provide content. Our job is to help people build community and make money via Mxit. So there's a tool set that's in place that helps people build applications and content and make it available and build it, and we take care of all that mess. And we can only make money if other people are making money. It's actually quite an interesting way to think about it. So the whole business, everybody in the business starts thinking about, okay, what are we doing to help other people make money? Because the business model is set up in such a way as the more money they make, the more money we're making. And building that community. So our little risks are that we don't get enough people on board that kind of system. I mean, on the one hand, you can get the social graph and all that stuff, everyone's using it, but what I really want to get is a big developer community, especially an Africa-based developer community. But it would be nice to get some Americans as well, plugged into this thing, and actually making money out of this thing. Because as soon as you go making guys money, suddenly they're out there telling more people to get onto your boat, because like it's in everybody's interest. And the one thing we have in an African context, which we have an advantage of over the guys in San Francisco, is that we have. And there's no time difference. You know? The techie sitting in Cape Town and watching Joburg and stuff and hop on a plane, retire just now. I mean, his advantages for Mxit succeeding is that he's on the ground floor of Facebook, effectively. It's like guys being in San Francisco and building around Facebook's ecosystem just have a much better chance of success than somebody sitting in Moscow or in Joburg. So those are the keys, and those are the things we're working around. You know, just getting this culture of Mxit around, getting people to understand it's about building an ecosystem, helping people make money, helping people build communities. You know, just get people thinking a little bit more, believing in themselves in a way. You know, not holding back so much and going, oh shit, what if we fail? What if we fail? We're not good as them, we're not as good as them, blah, blah, blah. Just going, we can make it. We've got all the skills, we've got all the infrastructure, we've got all the great people we need right here, and just kind of believing. So we just take a shot at it. Because if we don't take a shot, we're guaranteed to fail. And believe me, I don't underestimate the risks of taking on this whole thing. But at the very least, we feel like we're on a rocket. And this rocket has got a chance of landing on the moon. But you know, whether we land on the moon or we blow up along the way, at least we'll be amongst the stars. And thank you very much.